Hey everyone, welcome to the Movie Goers podcast. My name is Jordan. You can find me on all socials at Jordy B Writing,
And I'm Darius. D's all up in the area on all socials.
and we'll be reviewing Flight. This movie came out in 2012. The cast is Denzel Washington, Don Cheadle, Kelly Riley, John Goodman, Bruce Greenwood, Melissa Leo, Tamara Tooney, Nadine Velasquez, and Brian Garrity. Flight is about a commercial airline pilot named Whitaker, played by Denzel, who has a problem with drugs and alcohol, though so far he's managed to complete his flight safely. His luck runs out when a disastrous mechanical malfunction sends his plane hurtling towards the ground. Whip pulls off a miraculous crash landing that results in only six lives being lost out of 102. Shaken to the core, Whip vows to get sober, but then the crash investigation exposes his addiction. He finds himself in an even worse situation. So
All right.
I'll toss it to you for Act One.
Well, first, what made us pick this movie is it is topical. Planes are falling out of the sky, and we decided to freak ourselves out for summer travel. And Denzel's a great actor, so it's two birds, one stone. Breaking this movie down in three acts. Act one is very obviously called The Crash, which when we're introduced to Captain Whip Whitaker's Denzel's character. He's an airline pilot who is charismatic but struggling with substance abuse, and by that we mean all of the substances. Off the rip, I understand this is a pretty off the beaten path Denzel Washington movie, but if you've ever heard someone say that Denzel just plays himself or he plays the same character over and over again, I would suggest that they watch this movie. It stretches him and takes him to different places. And it's not a Denzel movie. It's really different than what you're used to from him. And so that's my first observation off the rip. Tossing it to you.
So my first observation for this movie is one. So I love the the opening scene, how it just pretty much tells you everything about you need to know about this guy
Yes.
off rip. He's waking up at 7 a.m. He got a flight in less than 2 hours. He's in the bed. You see beer bottles everywhere. He's laid up with a beautiful flight attendant.
If I
Um,
may, wake
yeah.
up. We're using that very loosely because he probably went to
Well,
sleep like
yeah,
40 minutes before
they
this.
probably took like a 30-minute nap. They probably
Yeah,
took a power
like
nap.
anyways, carry on.
Yeah, he's got the coke by the side of the bed. He gets a call from his ex-wife, basically asking him for tuition money for his kids' like private school or whatever. So you realize that he's a divorcee, maybe a loving father, probably not the most present father. Um, and then he's like, "Oh man, I'm tired. I'm lightheaded." So he does a line real quick. I love the scene where he walks out with the aviators on and the
Yeah.
captain's hat, one of the coldest shots ever.
Yes,
Also, I think that's one of the coolest movie stars of all time.
correct.
Like top five dead or alive, you know.
My thing is, and this will come up, it's a reoccurring thing. How does he end up trashing these hotel rooms? Like,
Dog, it's like, what the fuck were you doing?
what? Like, I don't. Did he
It's
just
like
get
he
drunk
had
and just
re
throw things around?
it's like he had recess in his room.
Yeah, it's these rooms are destroyed.
Yeah, like the
Beer
last scene
bottles
we got to get to that
everywhere.
later, but yeah.
I mean, just he had Coronas. First of all,
Yeah.
the first thing he does is take a drink of beer, which is
You know that beer is warm as fuck, by the
yeah,
way. That's
piss
some
warm, watered down Corona.
yeah.
He's chain smoking cigarettes
At 7 in the morning.
at 7 in the morning, doing cocaine. His joint was bad though.
Yes, Lord
Um,
Jesus.
and yeah, I mean he's drinking, literally drinking, not from last night, drinking both with 2 hours to go before the flight.
Yes.
Um, and then he gets on the plane and
He makes a mimosa, basically.
well, that's when the plane's in the air, but like
Oh,
while
right,
walking
right.
on
Yeah.
the plane, the movie is really good about telling you that he's not hiding it as well as others are hiding it
Yeah.
because Margaret, the flight attendant, just has a look like, man.
Like, oh, damn again.
Which it's clear he's people who know him are know that he does this. And so
Yes.
like it was alarming that no one just shut the shit down. But she just has this look and she's just like, you gonna give me to church on time? And he's like, yeah, save me a seat.
You
And
know
his
it damn well
co
he ain't never gonna go.
and his co-pilot is like, you all right,
Um,
man?
his co-pilot's like just giving like you good, bro? Like
He
you sure
literally
you need to
asks
be
him.
doing this right now? I don't know, man. You look a
It's
little
like,
fucked
you all
up.
right, man? And he's like, oh man, just a little tired, 3 days on, 2 days off
2 days
tomorrow.
off tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow. And you know what's crazy about this movie is the fact that like as we all have jobs and stuff, whatever. It's like, you have those days where you're like, it's gonna be a chill day,
Yeah.
smooth sailing at work,
It was a little
whatever.
hour and a half flight. He was
Yeah,
flying from
our flight,
Florida
he
to
probably
Georgia.
genuinely was, he genuinely, I'm sure, was just like, hey, I'll just do a little coat.
Yeah.
I'll touch down back in Atlanta in an hour.
These
I'll
planes fly
probably,
themselves these days.
right, I'll probably hit
Little
up Shorty when
autopilot.
he, I'll probably hit up old girl when we get off work, da 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 whoop de whoop. You know what I'm saying? Like, even so when he does the oxygen, I was reading up on that. That's actually like a hangover cure, which is why he
Yeah.
kept taking hits of oxygen. Because remember earlier he said he was lightheaded, so basically that's his best way. That's like a pilot, not pilot thing. That's something you can do to kind of, rejuvenate yourself, which is crazy.
And so I didn't know that. I thought that was just a movie thing. So, oh,
Oh
is
no,
that like
that's
the Vegas things where you can in Vegas you can like one of their they have like mobile trucks that'll bring you IVs for your hangover.
yes, correct. I was gonna
Uh,
say it's pretty basically the same thing as like a liquid IV or whatever. Yeah.
okay, fair enough. So he gets on the plane.
Hmm.
Not you said he made a mimosa. It was a vodka orange juice.
It was yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
but the audience should know he took like a
Three and he put
vending
airplane.
machine vodka like this and
Yes.
poured through a vending
It's
machine
about the
orange
size of
juice
a
like
phone.
this and poured three mini
Airplane
vodkas into
bottles.
it. It was a a
Yeah.
triple vodka. Just that's just what he was that much of an alcoholic. That's just
That
what
was a
he.
vodka. That was a vodka with light orange juice.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, three. Um, and so
Yeah.
they get a little turbulence. He fights. He's a very skilled pilot,
He's
and he
very
fights through
good.
the turbulence and he hands it off. And then what you got?
Yeah, that's when he makes the bottles and he
Yeah,
goes back there. There's the so yeah, he goes to sleep.
yeah.
The co-pilot is doing the thing and sorry,
Okay.
fire trucks passing. And something happens with the elevator, which is like a flap on the back of the plane, on the tail of the plane, and they can't bring it up, which means they just push the plane into basically a free fall.
It was basically
And
like the pitch. Something in the back of the plane basically tilted it forward, and
correct,
it locked into place. And so his pitch goes north, and he's there in a free fall,
just
or in
yeah,
a straight free fall.
and damn, and so they wake him up, and he's like, all right, he starts to go through his maneuvers. Hold on.
You're good. We're
Eh,
not picking it up, so it's not getting. I'm not
Oh,
hearing any
okay,
of it. So
okay. It's like a fleet of fire trucks passing by. And then there's so they start dumping the fuel.
yeah,
They do whatever all the I don't know a lot about planes, but they do all
yeah.
the press all the buttons, do all the mechanisms.
So the plane's in a free
Um,
fall, and he's
they try
trying
to
to
make
get
it
the
as light as
plane lighter so
possible.
he can flip it. So
Yeah,
he's a Navy pilot, very skilled pilot.
yeah,
Navy.
very
He's an Air Force
composed.
pilot, very skilled pilot. So he's not your regular person. He's basically flown in combat zones, so he knows
Correct.
more than your regular pilot. So he's dumping weight, trying to get it to flip so he can
Hmm.
buy time. That's what he was trying to do. The flip was to
Yeah,
buy time to figure out what the hell was going on.
yeah.
And to get that was one of my observations is that the skill was he basically resigned himself to dying. He thought the whole plane was killed.
Hmm.
What he was trying to buy time was to get out of crashing in a populated area.
Correct.
And
Yeah,
so he was just I mean, it was truly an act of heroism as
it really
under
was. It really
under the
was.
influence as he was. Because I
Yeah,
mean, he tells his co or his Margaret, well, flight attendant, say
yeah,
goodbye to your son.
yeah.
Uh like we
Speaking to the black box, say goodbye because it's
yeah,
over.
it's over. Like,
Um,
we're just trying to prevent casualties on the ground at this point.
right. He was space
Yeah.
trying not to hit a populated area, trying not to run into any sort of skyscrapers, anything like that, big buildings, big crowds. Yeah, so he flips the plane, they glide, he's able to they look for the nearest airport. There's not one, they realize they're not gonna make it to that airport. They find a field and
He just puts
they
it down.
land. Yeah, puts it down. And next thing you know, he comes to, he's in a hospital bed, with one of his friends who is he's on some sort of pilot board or union.
Yeah, so his friend is his union rep basically.
Yeah.
So obviously pilots are under a union. And so he wakes up, his friend's a union rep. What's up, man? I'm here as a friend first, but I have to hand you off to the NSTB, NTSB,
NTSB,
which is basically like a
National
government
Transportation
agency. Yeah.
Safety Board.
And they have to have first contact with you. But before we get into
Correct.
that, what's the most hungover you've ever been?
Oof.
I should have given you
Um,
this beforehand.
no, you're
Uh,
good. You're good. The worst hangover I've ever had. Um, there's two that stick out. stick out. I think the worst one probably was in college. I went to a party and I forgot to eat before, and so I was on an empty stomach. But it was empty stomach, but you didn't feel like you hadn't
Yeah.
eaten, you know. And some we're like, college kids. We're like, oh, I drink more than you, da da da. So we're going with the vodka shots, and I had like probably a regular cup size worth of like straight Pinnacle on an empty stomach.
Oh God.
Yeah, man. I woke up the next day at my friend's house and they were like, bruh, like, and they filled me in on what happened. They're literally like went through my phone and tried to call like everyone in my phone to try to figure out like let them know that I was okay and that they tried to get me home, but I think it's funny because I was drunk as I was when they like were like, "Hey, like you good?" They're like, "We'll take you home." And my apartment was a mess. I didn't want them to see the mess, so I was just like, "Oh, don't worry about it." And but eventually, I woke up the next day. I went home or went back to my apartment, which was around the corner, and I literally could not keep food down for like 2 days. Like it was awful. I pretty much have stopped drinking vodka since then.
I had a similar experience with gin. I still aren't able to drink that. But probably the worst hungover I've ever been was my best friend's bachelor party in Vegas.
Yeah.
I got separated from the crew and I was just at this bar alone
Mhm.
um on the strip. And I remember I had like $140 in cash in my pocket, wallet,
Yeah.
whatever. And the Captain Cokes were $8 and I was paying 10 for each because you tip.
Right.
I woke up with $0 in my pocket, so I must have had 14. I somehow got back to my hotel and I woke up and
Yeah.
there was just vomit everywhere. We had an emergency amongst the crew, the bachelor crew. I can't tell the emergency; it's quite personal. So
Right.
I had to like I remember they called me in the hotel room because we had 3 rooms, maybe 2 rooms, and we were just everyone had keys everywhere, so we're just bouncing around.
Yeah.
And I was just in that room solo because I got separated from the pack, and like they called the room phone, and I remember I answered it and hung it down. Like I could not function. Like everything
Yeah.
hurt. And then I picked it up again, and they were like,
Damn.
"You need to get to here, whatever." So I don't even honestly don't remember how I got to the other room. It was I was about we'll just say I was 3 hotels down the strip, and
Yeah.
I get there and we deal with the emergency. We figure out what we're gonna do with the emergency,
Yeah.
and it was Vegas, so we had some weed brought to us.
Mhm.
We figured out how to. This is before weed was legal, but we found you talk enough people, you get some weed, and we bought some weed the night before, and so we were smoking weed with that hangover the next day.
Yeah.
I was hungover. We were smoking weed, and there was beer, and I got slapped again, and like my boy my boy DJ, he was with me, and they had to go deal, other people in the party had to deal with the emergency, so I'm like
Yeah.
in the bathroom, room spinning over the
Yeah.
toilet. I was afraid, like I was like,
Yeah.
because I'm crossfaded.
Did you think you're gonna die?
I did, and I was like, DJ, is this it? He was like, nah, man, you're gonna be okay. He took care of me though, and we weren't even that close then. We dogs now, but I literally was afraid. I was like, I don't
Is
know.
this it?
I was like, I don't know if this is gonna the end because
Oh God.
I'm 14 crowns deep. I'm sleep deprived. They called me right at
Yep.
the top of the morning, and then we hit it. We hit it right back again. We started smoking weed and we started drinking again,
Yep.
and it just never again. I mean, I ain't
Damn.
gonna say never again. I've never been that drunk again, but
Yeah, no, no, I feel you. This one time I went out with some coworkers. I was maybe like 24, 25 at the time. And I was at a friend's house in Durham, but it's ironic because I'm
yeah,
known for being late, but I was like the first one to get there. So me and this and everybody else got there. I got there around 10, everybody else got there around midnight. So it's just me and my homegirl were like chilling, talking, sipping, drinking, whatever. But it's one of those things where like you're just sitting and sipping, so you don't realize that you're getting drunk
yeah.
until you stand up.
The thing
So for
about
two,
drinking at the crib is that your drinks are so much stronger than they are at the bar because
yeah,
you're not measuring, you're just pouring
you just sit and you're talking, you're
and
not,
you're talking, and there's a comfort level. You're at home or
yeah,
at someone's home, and you're just
yeah.
it can get the night can get away from you, those house
And
parties.
that night got away from me like nobody's business.
And it
Nah, so so
did.
listen, so we're doing Crown, and so
Yeah.
I'm just sipping and talking, and I just like went through like a bad like situation with a friend where like I realized they were like not my friend, you know what I mean? And so I was like sad about that, so I'm talking, I'm venting, I'm sipping, da da, da, you know how that goes. next you know, eventually I realized I'm like, oh, I'm kind of faded. Whatever, it's cool. We go out, we go downtown, and I was with a girl I was dating at the time. We all
Yeah,
worked together. Of course, you shouldn't fuck your coworkers, but I was doing that, whatever. And and
reoccurring theme.
we were keeping it quiet. We were keeping it secret, like no one knew. Um, and so dude would still get at her at work, but she, couldn't say like, oh, I'm dating him, because that would blow our shit up. And so we were at this Radical Club on Glenwood. It's no longer open now, but we were there, and we see a coworker. I see a coworker talking to her, and I was like, I've tolerated this shit at work. I'm not doing this shit like outside of work. So
Yeah.
I like go over there, and I don't remember. I think I might have tried to kiss her or something like that, whatever. But she didn't want to blow up the spot, whatever. She was like, oh, whatever. And I was like, all right, cool. So I got mad, and then so I spent the rest of the night like trying to make her jealous. With like remember I'm going off crown like I'm not logical
This
at
is out
all.
of the player rule book.
And so,
You did not keep in peace.
I did
Uh,
not. And so I was just like flirting with like one of her friends or whatever. And I didn't remember it in real time, but I said like some wild shit and they like left and I followed them out the club and we go sit in the car for a minute. I'm like, we're sitting in silence. I'm like, well, this is weird. So I text her. I'm like, hey, you good? What's going on? And she's like, do you not remember anything? I was like, no, what happened? And she tells me what I said to her friend. And I was like, what? No way. And she's like, yeah. So I was like, well, this is awkward. So I just get out the car and walk down the street and Uber home. The next day I take her to lunch. We go to a Italian spot. I won't say the name, but near Crabtree.
yeah.
And we're eating or I'm trying to eat, but I'm hungover as fuck. So like I got pasta, which I forgot because it's heavy. So I took a bite and I'm like, oh, this is gonna come back up. So I so I casually try to walk to the bathroom, but you know where you feel like you need to throw up, but you can't throw up.
Yeah.
So it was that. So I'm like standing like over the urinal. I'm just like, and one of the chefs or servers comes in. He's like, he can tell what's going on. And he's like, you good, bro? I was like, yeah, I'm good. I just kept like, so the whole day, like the whole dinner, I just like would take a bite, pretend to eat it, go to the bathroom, spit it out, come back to the table, drink water.
All right. That sounds awful.
It was the worst ever. It was the worst. I couldn't eat full food. I couldn't like keep food down until like the next night. Yeah, that was one of the worst things I ever had.
Have you ever
Um,
had bad turbulence in an airplane?
I had it one time. We were flying to. I was either flying to Chicago or Jamaica, and it got pretty bad for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, Nothing as obviously close to
Yeah.
that, but it definitely was enough to be like, oh, this is scary.
I had a dead drop. I don't know if that's actually what it's called. I just tried to Google it, but
Mhm.
I used to travel for work, so the more you fly, the wider range of outcomes that exist. And I one time we
Yeah.
had like it was probably 10 seconds. Apparently, like sometimes when you're flying, the altitude does something where the plane just does this.
Hmm.
And I was in on the plane when we did it was like a 10-second, basically a flat fall.
Shit.
And I mean, we were all seat belted up, but
Yeah.
because it was pretty turbulent as it was, but that was one of the most horrifying things I've ever experienced in my life. I mean, it's 10 seconds, but like count to 10
Right.
and think about free falling in the air like that.
Oh, hell
Like
yeah,
that
yeah,
shit was
yeah. That's
fucking
crazy.
horrible. Pilot comes on, he's like, "Oh, that was a rough one. Sorry about that." I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, but like they're used to
Yeah.
it. So,
Right. They probably forget how scary that is.
all right, we're gonna go into Act Two, called the investigation. The National Transportation Safety Board begins its investigation into the crash. One of my favorite parts about this segment is that every time he explains the story to somebody, he changes the alcohol and the amount's always small, but he changes it. Like he tells Don Cheadle's character,
Right.
"I had a couple of beers," and then but both he's like a couple of beers, and then he
Yeah.
tells Margaret at the funeral, "We went out last night. We had 2 glasses of wine," and she's like, "You went out and had 2 glasses of
That's 2 glasses of wine at dinner.
wine." Like, I was like, "Nah, I'm
What's the
tripping."
name of the restaurant?
Yeah. I will my one of my critiques of the movie, I like this movie, but it wasn't perfect. That whole scene in the
Yeah.
hallway with the dead guy, with the cancer guy and her, they could have cut
Oh
all
yeah.
that. That was just that I don't know why that was there. That didn't really do much for me at
It
all.
didn't really move the plot. They just could have had him meet her without the
It's a two
dying
hour and
man.
18-minute movie that could have cut that 10 minutes out. But anyway, what
Yeah,
you got for Act Two?
agreed. What was I gonna say? Yeah. So John Goodman definitely provided some much needed levity to this movie.
Underrated actor, man. I mean,
Yeah,
he's
he
he's
really
got some
is.
credits on him.
No, he does for real. He's in a lot of classics. Um, yeah, so when he shows up, he's like with the fucking bag of vodka and Red Bull and
Yeah.
porn mags and shit. I'm like, we
Porn
talking about
mags?
an
How
age
old are
group,
these niggas?
right? Yeah, like, like
Porn mags?
he can't use his phone. I'm confused.
Like, oh my God, you're still beating off the still pictures in a magazine?
Right. Yeah, why don't you bring out a Playboy? That's crazy.
I just that really aged those two right there.
No, it really did. It really did. He's like, I know you need some nudie mags.
Nudie mags and booze. That's what you think I'd eat after a plane crash.
Right, and cigarettes. A carton of
Like,
cigarettes is crazy.
anyways, I wonder though, like, was that his only friend?
I really think so. I think so.
What a lonely existence. Your only friend's your drug dealer. Uh,
Yeah, that's really about as lonely as it gets, I think.
yeah, he went to the cabin to get drunk alone. So,
True. That's
you
true.
know,
Yeah. And even oh yes, even with the girl he met in the hallway, Nicole, like obviously addiction's a strong is a character in the movie pretty much.
yeah,
And it's kind of interesting the way that the irony of her landlord basically saving her life by
yeah,
hounding her. Because if he hadn't he had, wasn't at the door, wouldn't hound her for that money,
yeah.
she probably doesn't wake up.
No, not at all. Which is why, even like progressive drug advocates will say, if you're gonna shoot up, don't shoot up alone because
Yeah.
that can happen. Yeah, so I wasn't really feeling the B plot of this movie.
Hmm.
I don't like the girl needed to be there because there needed to be something else going on, but it
Right.
really just felt like something tacked on at the end. Like I just didn't
Hmm.
really they needed Denzel to do something else. It couldn't just be him talking to the camera for 4 hours or two
Right.
hours. But everything to do with her, I just was like, I'm not interested in this. Like they sent her to like some porn shop. That was weird.
Yeah, that
And
was crazy.
then I
That was
get
odd.
I get why they had to meet in the hallway because they had to find some reason for him to know her to pull over, to save her, which it
Yeah.
all just felt a little clumsy to me. I wasn't really feeling the B plot of this one.
Yeah, I think the romance was a little clunky. I mean, it was also a trauma bond, but and
Yeah.
I will say I think they needed her character one because you in order to well, it just helped further highlight Whip's addiction issues, like the
Yes.
fact that he was not willing to seek help, he was not willing to admit
Yeah.
his he had a problem. She had a near-death experience similar to him.
Yeah.
Now granted, his wasn't caused by his addiction, but it wasn't aided by it either.
Yeah.
And I think that was I think. I mean, I was going to talk about this later, but like I think, for example, the scene where he she takes him to the AA meeting, like
Yeah.
I think her trying to help him because he wasn't ready to accept help, it was as harmful as the addiction was, and I think that was kind of I think that was the point of her character in the
Okay.
movie.
I didn't. I get it. I just thought it was. I just wish it was handled better.
I feel you. Yeah.
I if you're going to do that, I guess they did do some scenes with her and without him, but like
Yeah.
do the stories in parallel for a little bit so I can see what she does when he's not around.
Yeah. Right.
Because what is she doing at that cabin all day, Or just tell me how she just got clean right away. There was no struggles, there was no relapse. It was just,
Yeah.
I just like it was just like she was shooting up, then she was clean, and now
Hmm.
she's there to be his moral counterpart, and it just felt a little over the top.
I feel you.
Uh, but I've said this before, you've heard this before, this won't be new to you.
Hmm.
Drinking alone is my sign. It's time to hit that 800 number. This dude was getting lit listening to Marvin Gaye
Um,
by himself
yeah,
on a
Marvin Gaye,
jukebox,
what's going on? Yeah, man.
drinking hard liquor and beers. The TV wasn't even on. He was just sitting there. He was
No,
just
yeah,
sitting there
that's the
in the
thing.
dark getting
Yeah, I was gonna
drunk.
say, yeah, he wasn't even a social drinker. He was like a real deal alcohol. Like he was drinking vodka, he was drinking gin, he was drinking whiskey, he was drinking everything, man.
Beers,
Yeah,
wine.
beers, wine.
And what like how like the TV wasn't even on. He was just listening to
Yeah.
music in the dark, getting lit, lit, not tipsy, not buzzed,
He was getting
lit.
fucked up. He was getting fucked up.
He
Like he
almost
was
burned
getting
the cabin
vacation.
down.
Yeah, he did. He was getting vacation drunk every
Yeah,
night. Like
yeah. I
just
mean, every that was just what he did every day.
yeah, pretty
In between
much.
flying planes, which is terrifying. But
Yeah,
you know,
for real. Yeah, and it just was like, dude, like you couldn't just go to a bar and hang out. Like he really did have a lonely existence. And I think like even just the kind of the way they show his spiral, like the scene where he's at breakfast with Don Cheadle and his friend Charlie, where he starts to kind of get defensive and he's in denial and he's, no, I don't need any help and I should get a check too. I'm a victim. The plane was fucked up, and it's like, yeah, the plane was fucked up, but so were you,
Yeah.
like just the
He,
lack of accountability there.
his blood work said he was 0.24, which is
0.24,
three times the legal limit, and that's
right,
the morning
for
after.
driving. Yeah, the
The,
morning
the
after.
morning, like he drank a little that morning, but he wasn't hitting it hard. So we're
Yeah,
talking about, I mean, the night before he had to have been 0.4. I'm
yeah,
not a
shit.
doctor, but he had to have
Yeah,
been obliterated the night before
yes.
to still blow 0.24. Not the next afternoon, really, because they took his blood after the accident.
Yeah, within an hour
So,
of the crash. So
right,
that's probably
so
10:30, 11 a.m.
yeah, we talking probably
And
12 hours since his last shot, you know?
right.
No,
Yeah, he
hell no.
probably
He was
yeah.
drinking in the morning.
No, no,
No,
he probably stopped drinking around 3 or 4, I'm guessing.
yeah, true, true.
Went to sleep for a couple hours off and on or whatever.
What questions you got for Act Two?
Um, yeah, so one, I actually forgot to ask you this for flight or for Act One. Do you think they even should have let the flight go as scheduled? Like aside from him being drunk, like just the weather that
Yeah,
day?
that's fine. I don't. No, yeah, that's fine. You got those planes have to be. It's not just that plane has to get to X because that plane is scheduled to fly someone else to Y. It's like it's a
Yeah, that's
whole
true.
chain,
Yeah, that's
and
true.
then to let if you let that rain cancel a flight, like they won't cancel a flight for rain. They'll cancel it for thunder. They'll cancel it for snow. But
Yeah,
rain, I mean, it's a chain. Like if like so a flight that goes from Raleigh to Philly
yeah.
might have an hour turn of time to go from Philly to New York City. And if you cancel
Hmm.
that flight from Raleigh to Philly, now the people who are in Philly that need to get to New York don't have a plane. And
Right.
so you got to keep the
That's true.
schedule. As long as it's safe, you got to keep the schedule. And it was safe to fly. They were fine until the plane broke. Like that was just
Yeah,
turbulence, bad turbulence, but still just
yeah.
turbulence.
It was
Um,
shitty luck too. Like the
yeah,
one day he happened to, I mean, he probably drank every time on the plane, but the one day
yeah.
he was drinking 3 bottles on the plane was the day it crashed, and he couldn't get rid of the bottles in time.
I get the feeling
Um,
that was every day.
yeah, I mean, it probably was every day. Yeah,
I
but I
don't get the
also
feeling
think
this is a bender.
true. But I think, but again, like I was thinking about it, like before we were recording, like if he thought it was only an hour flight, like some chill, like easy shit, he
Yeah.
probably drank more than he would have the night before, and he may have drinking more than he would have the day of too. I mean, he was an alcoholic, so he was drinking heavily anyway. But I wonder if he would have gotten as fucked up.
I mean, then jumping ahead to the end, he says he drank the 12th, the 13th, the
Yeah,
14th
yeah, that's true. No, yeah, you're right. That's true.
again.
I drink all those days. I drink in excess.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think, and oh, it's also I do want to say that Cheadle and Denzel scenes together were fucking gold. I love
Yes.
anything they do together. I don't know if you've ever seen Devil in a Blue Dress.
I have not, no.
Um, oh, it's a dope like 40s like murder mystery with Denzel and Cheadle. Came out in like 92, and Cheadle stole pretty much every scene he was in that movie too. I think she's just like so underrated. But yeah, and then even like just the way the plot unfolds with all the mechanisms of the characters, I think is super dope in this movie too. Like the scene where they're at the meeting with the guy who owns the airline,
Yeah.
and they're talking about, the union and all that stuff, and then they're like, how many people? They're like 6 lives have to be accounted for, and Don Cheadle's character goes, actually it's 4. He goes, flight crew, they
Those
don't
two don't
count.
count.
Like,
Yeah.
which is crazy because it just reminds me. I have this saying I took like these jobs don't give a fuck about you. Like, and this
Well,
movie
no,
definitely
he said that they were
demonstrated
workers'
that.
comp
I mean, it
claims.
was workers' comp claim.
They will
I know,
be
I'm slightly, but
litigated that way. They were
yeah,
discussing their liability,
right.
um,
But it
civil
was just crazy
liability.
to say. It was a crazy thing to say out loud.
Well, I mean, it was a closed door meeting. I
True.
mean, there are things you say with your peers that you don't say to customers. I mean, he didn't say
Yeah,
that
that's
to the
facts.
families.
Yeah.
But like, no, I mean, you have to be able to be cold-minded and make business decisions.
Yeah.
And, and you get the PR person to come in. Okay, how do we say this?
Right.
Um,
That's true. Um, One thing I think that this movie does a great job of illustrating is I've watched like interviews and stuff with people with substance abuse problems and addiction issues, and there's always that phrase rock bottom, like as if
yeah,
there's like they people who don't know anything about addiction assume that there's this like one event or one thing that you really fuck up and that you're going to be straight, that'll set you on the straight path for like the rest of your life, without realizing that it's an everyday struggle. You literally have to take it one day at a time. You know what I mean? And I watched an interview with an actor who struggled with addiction, and he said yeah, rock you have multiple rock bottoms as an addict. Like there's not just one, this is the last time I'm going to do this thing. Like it happens
Yeah.
over and over again until eventually you realize you've just suffered enough that you have to make a better decision for yourself if you can, you know. Um, and I feel like one of the rock bottoms in the movie for Denzel's character was when he went to Trina's funeral
Yeah.
and he's basically begging Harriet, I think that's her name, Harriet, I want to say.
Margaret.
Yeah, Margaret. He's like
Yeah.
basically begging her to lie for him. Like, I didn't drink a lot. Like, it almost reminded me like those scenes of like in movies where like someone has like a heroin problem or like a crack problem. And they're just like, let me get like they just do
Yeah.
anything for that one hit, that one last hit.
Well, also,
Uh,
well, one, he's badgering the witness, but two,
right.
he's just drunk the whole time. So, like,
Yeah.
like you lose sight of that because you're used to seeing him, but the
Right.
character is drunk the whole time. Like
The whole
he
time. Yeah.
brushes his teeth with beer. We literally see him roll out of a bed
Right.
and drink a beer. Um, so what were your questions for Act Two?
Um, okay, so do you think that getting help when you're not ready is more harm than can cause more harm than good?
I mean,
Like the
n
scene when he went to the AA meeting where he just like couldn't handle it.
no, I mean, I think Captain Whip Whitaker was on such a self-destructive path that
Yeah.
it's like the meeting might have or hurt on the margins,
Hmm.
but no, I mean, there's a something in Act Three that I think clearly triggered his relapse, but
Yeah.
um, no, I don't. I mean, I think she couldn't drag him there. I mean, she didn't drive; he had to drive, so he went there on
Yeah.
his own accord. I mean, you see him when he first gets to the cabin, he pours all the booze out. So he's clearly struggling with this.
Yeah.
He tells his only friend, John Goodman's character, I don't need any vodka. Like you see him, he doesn't announce I'm done drinking, but like you see him try to quit,
Yeah.
and every time, it's just how he coped with bad news, and he was getting a lot of bad news in this movie, So,
Right.
I mean, it's not you don't excuse the actions
For sure.
post
Yeah.
post airplane, but he was looking at prison time.
Right.
This wasn't a small thing to deal with. He was looking at very serious prison time. And,
Yeah.
that's what he used to cope. So,
And so I do have another question for you for Act Two. It's a kind of a tricky question, so it's fine if you don't have a strict answer for it. Do you have in your mind, do you have a specific definition or like barrier for alcoholism?
well, I mean, there's a definition of like chemical dependence if you need it to like function. That's clearly.
Right.
Um, yes, yes. I think functional alcoholism is rampant in
Yeah.
especially American culture.
Yeah. I think it's more common than people
Um,
realize.
they wine moms. You see the whole section at Trader Joe's.
Right.
Chuck E. Cheese now serves beer and wine now. Arcades are now just bars with video games in them.
Yep.
The extent to which bowling alleys, believe it or not, bowling
Yep.
alleys used to not have bars in them.
Right.
The extent to which we are just swimming and drenched in alcohol all the time as a culture is like it's like a fish doesn't see water because it's just all around them all the time. And then once you
Right.
see it, you can't unsee it. So I think
Yeah.
functional alcoholism is just rampant. I basically
It's
I make
big.
the
It's a billion-dollar business.
I
Yeah.
tweet this all the time. Drunk driving is functionally is legal because the extent to which people who do it, the percentage of people who do it and get caught is just zero. And you might drive drunk
Yeah.
1,000 times before you get your first DUI. That's basically legal. Like we basically don't enforce drunk
True.
driving laws. Because I can sit. We'll talk about that off camera. But
Yeah.
no, it's just like functional alcoholism is basically legal.
Yeah.
I mean, functional alcoholism runs rampant in American culture.
It's true. And I think this thing too is like I've done dry Januaries and I've had friends who've done dry Januaries. And once you do that or try to do, or even if you say you just want to chill, like, or don't drink, whatever, it's like, as an adult, what is there to do after 10 p.m. at night that doesn't involve drinking?
Well, a lot
There's
of
nothing to do, nowhere to go. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I'm
that's the
not literally,
biggest.
you do have the option to not drink, of course. But I'm saying like everything it's alcohol is such a social construct in our society nowadays. It's like what events are not built around it?
No, it's like that's one of the biggest things people who get dry explain about is that just there's nothing to do. But
Yeah.
your time frames change. Like it's not normal for. I mean, I'm 36. It's not normal. Like people my age, my peers aren't out at 1 a.m. They just do fun stuff during the afternoon. Like they have families and kids and they don't they
Right,
just
right,
they're in the house at 10 o'clock. So you're supposed to age out of wanting to do things at 1 o'clock in the morning. I haven't, but
right.
um, that goes into, millennial perpetual adolescence. But no, it is true that there are increasingly, vanishingly few things to do that don't involve a booze, but they exist. And
Right.
but no, like I mean, I just said earlier, there's booze at Chuck E. Cheese, which is a kid's place.
Yeah, it's
Beer and wine,
crazy.
not booze. But like you can't even take your kids to Chuck E. Cheese without catching a buzz. That's sad. Act three, we're gonna call the confrontation and redemption. The NTSB hearing approaches, and Whip must confront his past and his addiction. Um, my first observation is I don't know where your act three starts, but this is just my first
Okay.
observation. And so he's in the hotel and he's cool. He eats a steak, watching TV. He looks out the window and he sees that plane take off. And I
Yep.
just think he lost it. I just think he was dry for 2 weeks. The audience should know he roomed up with the union rep for
Yep.
2 weeks. Um, he got caught drinking and he rooms up with the union rep for 2 weeks, and then he drives out for those 2 weeks, and they put him up in a hotel room, and he relapsed because he saw a plane. Well, I think so. They didn't say so, but I think he saw that plane leave and just lost it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good. I actually never thought of that. I mean, yeah, you might be right because it was really subtle, yet it was clearly intentional. And they do that again in another part of the movie, which I'll that's later on in Act Three. But yeah, it's interesting. Like even the scene before that where he runs Nicole off, his little like addiction buddy.
Yeah.
Um, that's poor choice of words, but his friend who also has addiction. Um, where he's screaming at her when he's drunk and he's like telling her about herself because he's going into defense mode and denial mode, or he says, I choose to drink, which I thought was interesting. Um, because it's a nice way of thinking. It's a comforting way of thinking if you're struggling with addiction. Because if you're saying you choose to drink or choose to do this substance, you're also saying that you can choose to stop at any point in time,
Yeah.
which of course that's kind of antithetical to the whole concept of addiction to some degree. Um, and then again, you got the flight with the that he sees, which is a trigger for him. Even
Yeah.
earlier in that, when he goes to his ex-wife's house and he has arguing with his son, he goes and gets faded again, which led to him running her off, and then needing to go on that 9-day binge with or clean streak with his buddy. Yeah, do you think they should have had someone stay with him when he went to that hotel,
Well, they did. They
like
had
in the
a
room
security
with?
guard well, I mean,
No, I mean like in the room with him.
well, this gets to be where it's a movie. The door's jammed, the window, that was a bit Hollywood.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did what they
right.
cleaned out the minibar. They put a security guard on the
Mhm.
door. They're supposed to plan for the adjoining room to be propped open and him to hear the wind come through and not that's where it gets to be a movie.
Yeah.
I think you can't put someone in his room. There are privacy concerns there.
Right.
But you put a door, the guards like no one's came in and out of room service. You paid this
Yeah.
dude probably handsomely to sit at the door. You took all the
Hmm.
booze out of the room. I'm sure you put the tab on someone else's credit card. Order whatever you want. Watch TV. We just got to get you to 9 a.m.
Yeah.
They
Just
probably
get you
left him at
9 a.m.
10 p.m. You figure he sleeps for 8 hours. What could
Hmm.
go wrong? I mean, and everything went wrong. That's where that's where it gets to be a movie where you get
Yeah.
the adjoining room gets the, but we are still
Yeah.
watching movies, but
True. Also, how the fuck do you drink an entire mini bar and not die? Like,
so we went back to it, Act One. I like, how did he destroy that room? He hit his head. I'm like, what the
the,
fuck you doing?
yeah, he fell trying to, I'm assuming he fell trying to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
The curtains were ripped down. Shit was thrown everywhere. The fridge was empty and on the floor.
It
Like,
looked like a frat party. I was like, dude,
no, it looked like you would assume there were 10 other people in the room with him
yeah.
if you saw the damage
You
in that
thought he
room.
ordered hookers.
Um,
Again, that's where you get to be a movie. How'd the guard not
yeah,
hear any of that? You know,
right. And he likes to get drunk to music, so I'm sure he had music playing at some point.
yeah,
Um, then of course they call in his drug dealer John Goodman to give him some coke and the what they call it, the Cocoa Puff, the cigarette with
yeah.
the cocaine at the end of it.
So I mean, I'm not familiar with it, but I guess the cocaine brings you back to life and wipes the hangover out and makes you
Yeah,
presentable. You're still drunk,
yeah,
but you're high on cocaine too,
you're
so you're able
functional.
to you're able to present not drunk. Though
Yeah,
I
you're
imagine
functional.
everyone said he always smelled like booze, so I imagine that you could smell it on him.
True.
But I'll tell you
But yeah,
one thing, at that hearing, I'd have told that lie.
oh hell yeah, shit. I'd have been like, I don't know. I heard she be drinking.
Yeah, man. I mean, she's dead and gone. I mean, we was just fucking. I ain't really. We, my wife.
And
I'd have
you
put that
right,
on her. It was
yeah, I
already
did
established that no one caused the plane to crash. It was a mechanical failure.
right. So it really
So
didn't matter who was
who
drinking.
drank the vodka? I would have I'd have told
Yeah,
that lie.
yeah. I would. I think I would have lied, and then I would have went into retirement and just cashed out.
Uh,
Personally.
yeah, I mean, he did what 13 months in prison? How many times? He was 13 months when he gave his monologue.
Yeah, when they show him later, I think he said he had like 4 or 5 more years left.
He just
Yeah, and then last scene of the movie, he's talking to he doesn't talk those he has a visitor, talks to his son, and he's like, I got to write a college essay about the most fascinating person I'd never met. Then he asks him, "Who are you?" That shit hit like a ton of
yeah.
bricks.
In the movie, I think that's the last that ends, right?
Yeah, that's the last on the movie, and then you hear the plane fly
Yeah.
overhead.
And then the thing is that like you never really heard his son the whole movie. You know, that was really
Yeah.
the only time he talked to him. So it was fitting.
Hmm.
Did you think he would relapse in that hotel room?
When I
Because
first saw
for
it,
your very first
uh,
viewing,
okay, so but you mean before or after I saw the second room with the minibar?
when he takes the vodka, he sniffs it and he puts it back on the refrigerator and he walks away. What did you think was going to happen?
Oh, for a split second, yeah, for a split second, I thought, 1 second, yeah, for a split second, I thought that he,
You're lagging.
uh, shit. You hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. Um, yeah, I think he would have. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, he's not gonna do it. Okay, cool. But then they kept panning the camera on the bottom. I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna grab this. His addiction is too strong. It's right there. Tomorrow's the biggest day of his life. He's
Yeah.
gonna grab that bottle.
I thought he'd get away with it. I love this was keep in mind it's 2012, so I was a little younger, and I just
Yeah.
thought all movies had happy endings. And I'm glad that I was actually happy that this movie didn't put a neat bow on it, and it was a good little ending. I enjoyed it. Do you have anything else for Act Three?
Um, yeah, you did answer my question. I was gonna ask you if you would have came clean or not about
Hell
those
yeah,
bottles.
I ain't going to prison, man. What do you rate it, man? What's your ranking?
I give it 4 stars.
Okay,
I really enjoy the movie. I think this is one of Denzel's best performances of his career. I put this probably right behind Training Day, Malcolm X, Training Day. Um, my mind's going blank right now. Maybe like Great Debaters or something like that. Um, I think the only thing I wish they did more of in this movie was show where his addiction came from, like the root of his addiction. They never really
well, his
touched
dad
on
was a
that.
drunk. His dad was a drunk, and you could tell from the home videos that were playing in the background. So
Yeah,
that was a little. I mean, it wasn't much, but you could
yeah,
tell that his dad was, just a military drunk because that was his dad's cabin.
right, yeah,
So I would give it a 3.5. Great movie, enjoyable. Just anytime it's on, I like to watch it. It's a good movie. As far
yep,
as ranking the Denzels, obviously Malcolm X, John Q. This one is in there. Training Day is in there. And then
yep.
I would say, I like that movie Fences. So I'm gonna put that as my fifth.
You know what? I
Fences
love
in there.
Fences. I thought he should have won an Oscar for Fences, actually.
I'm gonna give him Fences. So we gonna
Um,
go Malcolm X,
yeah,
Training Day, John Q, Flight, and Fences for me is my five.
okay, I'm not mad at that. That's a good list right there. I'm trying to think of another one. I feel like oh, Glory. I forgot about Glory. Um, But yeah, no, that's definitely in his top five for sure. And I like that it shows his versatility because he wasn't just like a badass. He was like you saw got to see him casual, like slowly self-destruct throughout the movie, which is kind of cool to see from him.
Yeah, I agree. It's a different place that he took it to a different place and he wasn't, a superhero. So, all right, thanks for listening. My name is Darius. D's all up in your area on all socials.
And I'm Jordan. Jordan be writing on all socials.
Please rate, like, subscribe. We are Movie Goers Pod on all socials. Movie Goers PD on Twitter. That is Movie Goers PD on Twitter.
And for any future movie recommendations, you can reach out to us via email at moviegoerspod@gmail.com. That's moviegoerspod@gmail.com. Thanks for coming to the movies with us. Tune in. We'll be back next week with another episode. And that's a wrap on the moviegoers.